In the autumn of 1625, England sent a great fleet towards Spain. Its mission sounded glorious: strike Cádiz and seize the treasure fleet from America. King Charles I needed a victory. His powerful favorite, the Duke of Buckingham, promised an expedition worthy of England's legendary Elizabethan sea raiders. But the new army was no band of seasoned heroes. Many recruits were poorly trained, badly equipped, and pressed into service with little preparation. Command went to Sir Edward Cecil, Viscount Wimbledon, a veteran land officer who had fought in Europe, but had little experience directing a naval campaign. More than 100 English and Dutch vessels gathered at Plymouth. From shore, the forest of masts looked powerful enough to frighten an empire. Up close, the picture was less impressive. Requisitioned merchant ships were overcrowded, supplies were inadequate, and commanders argued over orders and authority. The fleet sailed in October and immediately met violent weather. Storms scattered ships, damaged rigging, spoiled provisions, and exhausted men before battle began. By the time the Armada reached Cádiz Bay, surprise was fading. The Spanish had strengthened their defenses, while the English were hungry, sick, and confused. Cecil ordered an attack on the harbor fort at El Puntal. The position was taken, giving the invaders their first, and almost only, clear success. Yet valuable Spanish ships escaped deeper into the bay. English captains waited for instructions, and the moment to capture them disappeared with the tide. The expedition then shifted to land. Thousands of soldiers came ashore, expecting food, water, and firm orders. They received almost none of them. Under the southern sun, the column marched towards Spanish positions. Armor grew hot, boots filled with dust, and empty stomachs weakened every step. Some men had gone many hours without a proper meal. Discipline, never strong, began to crack as officers struggled to keep the exhausted ranks together. Then the soldiers discovered buildings filled with wine, stores intended for ships trading with Spain's American empire. To thirsty men, it seemed miraculous. Cecil allowed wine to be distributed as a ration. The decision may have seemed practical: give each regiment a measured drink and restore its strength. But no one had properly inspected the stores or secured the remaining barrels. Once the first casks were opened, restraint became nearly impossible. Soldiers drank on empty stomachs. Cups vanished, helmets became bowls, and men crowded around barrels while red wine spilled across the stone floors. The controlled ration became a frenzy. More casks were broken open. Commands were ignored, formations dissolved, and the army's advance stopped completely. Officers shouted, threatened, and pleaded. Some soldiers laughed at them, others fought among themselves or collapsed beside the very weapons they needed. Night fell over a camp that no longer resembled an invading army. Fires burned, songs echoed, and sentries could barely stand at their posts. Cecil now faced a brutal truth. If Spanish troops attacked at dawn, his scattered and intoxicated force could be destroyed before forming a battle line. The commander abandoned the march and ordered a retreat to the ships. Men who could still walk were pushed and dragged back toward the shore. Weapons, equipment, and exhausted stragglers were left behind. The return was not an orderly withdrawal, but a humiliating escape from a disaster of their own making. Spanish defenders watched the invasion collapse without fighting the great battle England had planned. Wine had achieved what cannon and cavalry had not. Back aboard the fleet, Cecil still hoped to salvage the mission by intercepting the treasure ships arriving from the Americas with silver and valuable cargo. That plan failed too. The Spanish fleet avoided the English, while disease, hunger, and deteriorating ships turned delay into another enemy. The battered armada finally sailed home. It returned without Cádiz, without treasure, and without the triumphant story its sponsors had promised England. For ordinary sailors and soldiers, the voyage ended in sickness, unpaid wages, and grief. For the government, it became a national embarrassment. Parliament blamed Buckingham's leadership and preparations. In 1626, members moved to impeach him, deepening the conflict between Charles I and Parliament. The Cádiz expedition is remembered as a lesson in military failure. Grand ambition cannot rescue poor planning, weak logistics, divided command, or an unsecured wine cellar.